Now on CoastTV News.
Millville hate crime.
We will not tolerate it.
The fire company speaks out for the first time after 2 members are arrested.
Rental rule showdown.
The people are overwhelmingly against these restrictive ordinances.
A petition with over 1,000 signatures against new changes in Ocean City.
Route 1 redesign.
I don't know how I would get across. That's my main concern.
A major shift coming to a busy Sussex County intersection.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
The Millville Fire Department speaks out after a hate crime was brought to light. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight by hearing from the Millville Fire Department for the first time.
These are the helmets at the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. Leadership there says they wear their gear with pride, knowing they serve everyone, no matter their background. This comes after 2 ex-volunteer firefighters were arrested and had their memberships permanently revoked after detectives say they were seen on video chasing a paid employee with a noose and calling him racial slurs. Coast TV News reporter Zakia Jennings is live there in Millville. Zakia, you sat down with the fire chief and president of the department.
Maddie, the 3 men I spoke with say they are now evaluating their policies to make it easier and more comfortable for career staff and volunteers to step up and report a situation if they have to. The Millville Volunteer Fire Company, it's where Jay Droney and Jordan Hastings used to volunteer until their membership was recently revoked after being charged with a hate crime. Coast TV went to the fire department and spoke with Fire Chief Douglas Scott to learn more about who these people are.
We really don't know, and we really don't monitor that. That's their personal time, their personal behavior. But they were capable firefighters, and we utilize them in that capacity.
Once the victim made leadership aware of the hate crime that took place in February of 2024, Greg Hawker, president of the fire department, says they handled it quickly.
2.5 hours being notified, both members were suspended immediately. Delaware State Police had already been contacted, and the Fire Commission had already been contacted. And then we called a special board meeting for the following evening and revoked their whole entire membership forever.
Though both men joined as junior members, Hawker says he did not hesitate to call the police.
2.5 hours being notified, both members were suspended immediately. Delaware State Police had already been contacted, and the Fire Commission had already been contacted. And then we called a special board meeting for the following evening and revoked their whole entire membership forever.
Many people asked why the fire department is just now learning about the situation and if they have security cameras. Chief Scott says there are cameras, but they are not monitored 24/7. Someone would have to bring a situation directly to leadership for them to pull back the cameras. We asked the department if people can trust them moving forward.
The men and women that volunteer here and work here, by and large, obviously we've got 2 bad apples here, but by and large have behaved nothing but honorably and respectfully and are here because they have an absolute desire to help the community, and the community is everybody.
The fire department says they have an open door policy and encourages the public to speak to them if they have questions. I did ask the gentleman if they could tie a fireman's knot, since that is what Hastings said Droney tied in the affidavit. They said there are about 5 to 6 different ways to tie a fireman's knot. However, they all agreed what they saw Droney chasing the employee with was not a fireman's knot. They said it was very clearly a noose. Live in Millville, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Zakia. According to court documents exclusively obtained by Coast TV, Droney approached the victim and was swinging that noose while the victim was grilling. And according to court documents, said, quote, "Come here, boy," and was laughing while the victim ran away. Detectives say Jordan Hastings filmed it. That's why he's charged. According to court documents, after that, the victim says Droney called him a racial slur multiple times and would talk about cotton fields in front of him. We have much more on this story, including the timeline of events, right now on CoastTV.com.
Pope Francis passed away this morning at the age of 88. The Vatican says Pope Francis died of a stroke that put him into a coma and eventually led to heart failure. Here at home, he's being remembered as a pope who made history by being the first pope from Latin America, but also for keeping in mind those who need help the most.
Pope Francis will be known and remembered for urging the church to go out among the peripheries, to go out and seek those who are suffering, those who are ill, those who are poor, not be closed up in our churches, but to go out among the sheep.
The Catholic Diocese of Wilmington, which covers all of Delmarva, says some of their churches will be planning special prayer services, rosaries, and masses for Pope Francis. This brings us into our Coast TV poll this evening. We want to know, what should the next pope focus on?
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. Take a look at your screens. So far, 76% still say modern issues. It's changing a little bit as we see a few more folks voting for tradition, youth outreach, and church unity are other options.
And if you haven't voted on this yet, it's pretty easy to do. You can go to coasttv.com or use the Coast TV mobile app. We will show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. A box full of signatures, and each one represents the fight against new rental rules in Ocean City. On Monday, realtors and rental owners went to Town Hall to hand over their petition. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Ocean City. Kevin, these signatures, they all had to be handwritten in person.
Charlie, not only did they have to find people to sign in person, they also had to find people that voted in the last Ocean City election. But realtors and homeowners were able to get enough signatures for a possible referendum. This briefcase has over 1,300 signatures. And today, realtors and homeowners made their way to Town Hall in Ocean City to drop them off in hopes that it'll force a referendum.
The people are overwhelmingly against these restrictive ordinances that the town has put on the people, and they see it for exactly what it is.
For months, the Ocean City Council has been adding new rules to short-term rentals in residential areas and mobile homes. Only 2 people per bedroom, no matter the size, a moratorium on new business rental licenses for the rest of the year, and a 5-night minimum length of stay. That's the rule realtors and homeowners are trying to stop.
I had to rent it out to do so many upgrades to it, and I was still working then, and to help, take care of it and pay the bills. Taxes are so high in Ocean City, Maryland.
But according to the Ocean City Council, these rule changes would only affect residential areas and mobile homes. That's roughly 300 of the nearly 9,000 rentals in town.
Council wants to protect those areas so that year-round residents or those who are looking for a different style of living in town.
So where are we at now? To get a referendum in front of the voters, people opposing the new rental rules needed signatures from 40% of Ocean City voters. They claim they've done that. Now those signatures have been brought to the Ocean City clerk to be reviewed one by one to see if every signature is legal and correct. If that all passes, then the new length of stay rule would be suspended until a referendum can be held and voters ultimately decide the future of rental rules in Ocean City. Now, according to the Ocean City manager, if a referendum is the next step being taken, then the Ocean City Council has 2 options. They could either do a special election where people get to vote a little bit quicker, or they could wait for the council election where people could still vote there. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Kevin. Speaking of Ocean City, let's look live there. Our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono, is in for Paul and gives us a look at our forecast. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Maddie. Yeah, it was quite a gorgeous Easter weekend on Delmarva. We were in the 80s on Saturday, 77 yesterday. Slightly cooler today, but still seasonable. We had a lot of cloud cover today, some peaks of sunshine here and there. We're holding at 57 in Ocean City, one of the more cooler spots. We've had a persistent onshore flow keeping coastal areas rather cool in the 50s, 58 in Rehoboth, 60 Bethany Beach. Milder back off to the west. We're at 71 in Seaford, and we're at 67 in Delmar. You can see winds still at this hour, 28 miles an hour gust there in Salisbury, 24 mile an hour gust in Georgetown. As I mentioned, we've been dealing with mainly cloudy skies across the area. We're tracking multiple fronts, a warm front and then a cold front. We'll talk more about some minor rain chances tonight and then some bigger rain chances down the road. Charlie?
New tonight, 2 crimes on Paradise Street in Georgetown in just 2 days. First, 42-year-old Keith Morrison has been arrested for attempted murder after police say he tried to set his girlfriend on fire following an argument. Officers responded to Paradise Street around 3 a.m. on April 20th, finding the 44-year-old victim with severe burns. Police say she is now in critical condition.
At that exact same street just a day later, police say 2 men were hurt after confronting a man breaking into cars. This is the area you see on your screen. We're talking about Paradise Street, where both of these crimes, police say, took place. Troopers say the suspect hit a man with a broken bottle and took off in a white Chevy van.
Demolition on the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk started today. It's to make way for a new hotel. The building was previously a Grotto's Pizza and the former Sirocco Hotel. For people in the nation's summer capital, it's a much-needed upgrade for the entrance to the boardwalk.
I think it's a long time in coming. I've been coming to Rehoboth for many years. This has been my grottos I've always come to, and it needs to be repaired, and the hotel behind it also. Do I want another oceanfront hotel? No, but as long as they put businesses underneath, I'm fine with it.
Demolition work will continue until May 15th, then they will pause during the summer season and resume again in September.
And we have a lot more news to get to this evening.
Crosswalk art, a new approach to safer roadways.
Well, we're going to stay pretty mild overnight as a warm front pushes through. Temperatures holding in the lower 60s, and we'll see mainly cloudy skies, a few spotty showers through the overnight into daybreak Tuesday. We'll talk more about temperatures rising near 80 tomorrow coming up.
First, Milton Overpass progress, a big update on the long-awaited project when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
If you've ever driven down Route 1 or Route 16, you know it's busy, and the intersection, apparently it's one of the most dangerous ones there. DelDOT says Route 1 and 16 is where they've seen the most crashes all of Route 1 in Sussex County since 2012.
As Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, that safety concern is the reason for a new traffic pattern that will begin on Tuesday.
Phase 4 of construction getting the green light. The Milton Overpass project, which you can see here, started in 2022. The goal is to improve safety at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 16. Local Elsie Pennington actually got hit in this intersection in the past.
Thank God it didn't kill her. It didn't, injure her, but it was scary.
To prevent more crashes and collisions, Phase 4, which begins Tuesday, will start to reroute cars and trucks heading towards the beaches across the new overpass as construction in the surrounding area continues. Pennington, though, says she's still worried about the project.
I can only imagine in the summer when the traffic is worse and when they take the light away from here, from 16 and 1, that I don't know how I would get across. That's my main concern.
Mm-hmm. Mike Jensen lives in the neighborhood near the intersection, and he's optimistic.
Once the summer comes, I imagine it's going to be quite busy. So this is going to relieve some of the traffic around here.
DelDOT claims the new patterns will eliminate the problematic crossover on Route 1. But for drivers, the hope is that all this work helps them shift into a safer gear. In Milton, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
A damp start to our Tuesday, but tomorrow afternoon shaping up to be quite nice, pushing near 80 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll talk about a rather quiet, calm week ahead, and then we'll see some unsettled weather roll into the weekend. The full 7-day forecast is coming up next. Well, after seeing, summer-like conditions over the weekend as far as the temperatures are concerned, especially back on Saturday, much cooler today, but still rather seasonable, even with the cloud cover in play. We're at 70 in Laurel, and you can see temperatures falling into the lower 60s by around 10 o'clock with a lot of cloud cover, and then we'll see a few scattered showers roll into the overnight. 58 in Eden River Inlet. We're at 57 in Rehoboth. Further away from the coast, we're at 71 in Seaford. We're at 67 Delmar, 66 in Milton. We've had this persistent onshore flow, keeping things pretty cool at the coast. Still seeing some gusts upwards of 20 in Bethany to 28 in Salisbury, 22 in Georgetown. Those winds are going to shift more to the south overnight thanks to a warm front that's going to bring temperatures back up to near 80 for our Tuesday after a bit of a damp start. A few showers and drizzle to start. And then overall, a pretty nice week ahead as far as the middle part of the week is concerned. Then as we roll into the weekend, things turn a bit unsettled. We'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms roll into the picture not until Saturday. Now, the pollen, tree pollen specifically, continuing to be very high. The oak, the ash, and the birch is going to continue to be high not only for Tuesday, but it looks like for a majority of the week, unfortunately. Now, we have a small craft advisory up for the Bay side. That is up through 2 a.m. So here's the cloud cover throughout much of Delaware and Maryland. Warm front just off to our west is going to be pushing in. You can see a few scattered showers back off through western Pennsylvania as well as West Virginia. That cold front is also going to be extending eastward through the overnight and into our Tuesday. 60 overnight, a cloudy, mild night with a few spotty showers. But after we get past the dampness in the morning, going to warm up pretty nicely, I think, by the afternoon. 77 Lewis, 80 Georgetown. We'll see 80 Seaford, 77 in Cambridge. More of a west wind tomorrow. 79 in Salisbury, 78 Princess Anne. So there's a few of those spotty showers, some drizzle into tomorrow morning along the coast. 7 a.m. you can see a few spotty areas of drizzle into Rehoboth down through Ocean City. But by the afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds, upper 70s to near the 80-degree mark for places like Seaford, Allendale, Georgetown, and then a bit cooler at the coast, still upper 50s to lower 60s. But then by Wednesday, we'll see mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the lower 70s. There you see the winds out of the south tonight, switching out of the east northeast by a Wednesday, and then there you see the precipitation chances remain relatively low until we get to Saturday. That is when that next front's going to be pushing in. Looks like Saturday afternoon through Saturday evening, we could be dealing with more widespread rain and even potentially a rumble of thunder. We'll have to watch the way that tracks throughout the week, but overall, a pretty nice stretch of weather here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures holding pretty steady, generally in the lower to mid 70s across much of Delmarva. We're up to 77 on Saturday with the better chance of rain over the next 7 days.
All right, thank you. Into the Trenches is back for its third season. This year, we followed the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team, fresh off their first state championship appearance in 40 years. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+.
Soaring Over the Shore is sponsored by Morris Roofing and Siding.
A large freshwater pond, Red Mill Pond, used to have a grist mill. That's long gone, but drive down Route 1 or Sweetbriar Road, and you'll often find a kayaker or a boater. Despite having red in its name, the pond is almost green with plants and algae. But the many homeowners who live on the banks love it just the way it is. Some waterfront peace and quiet just minutes from the beach.
Calming traffic with art. That is Milton's approach to safer roadways for pedestrians. The art is used to draw attention to walkers, and this latest crosswalk is the 13th in Milton to be painted. It's at the intersection of Mulberry and Federal Street. Lily pads painted by volunteers to promote safety.
And coming up this Friday and Saturday, head on over to the Harrington Fairgrounds for the DSN Outdoor Expo. It is a free family-friendly event. The Outdoors Expo is your one-stop shop for everything outdoors.
Well, we're saying congratulations to Linda Ray of Georgetown, Delaware. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. And you get your forecast anytime by dialing our First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Broxton, Mandalis, and Federico. Now, your 10-day forecast shows 80 tomorrow after a brief shower, some drizzle in the morning, 72 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, looking very nice in the lower to mid 70s. Watching for a chance of some rain Saturday. Unfortunately, bad timing with that. Saturday afternoon through Saturday evening. And then we're looking at temperatures back in the upper 60s by Sunday.
Chris, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.